Hi, this is Jim. I'd like to make a video today about comparing the hd6xx Sennheiser headphones to the Hifiman he400i. These headphones are both a significant step up from any sort of consumer grade Bluetooth headphone, the Sonys or any of that stuff. These take the listening to a much higher level, much more realistic. And so these headphones are actually much more similar than they are different. So I just wanted to go over some of the differences for anyone who might be considering purchasing either one of these. I would say for sound quality, they're pretty much identical. It's just that they present the sound in a different way. Each one of them does. So as far as comfort, I've heard a lot of people say that the clamping force on the Sennheisers hurts their head, or it's too tight, or you got to stretch it or something. But as far as for me, I don't have any problem with the clamping force on them. I don't think they clamp that hard, and they're really comfortable. The only two things with comfort on the hd6xx for me is the cords seem to point inward. They seem to, when they come out the bottom of the cup, they seem to point towards the center of your torso or chest or whatever. So a lot of times the cords end up resting against my neck, which I find really annoying and uncomfortable. Sometimes I have to keep taking the cord and spreading it out so it's not laying on my neck. And then the ear cups fit quite a bit more snugly around my ear than I thought they would by looking at it. So apparently I have giant Dumbo ears and a pin head, apparently, because of the way they fit. But they're still very comfortable, and I don't have any problem. And I don't notice the ear cups once I put them on. The Hifimans, the wide head strap, it is very comfortable, but sometimes I get an itch up under there, and it's really hard to reach it with that wide head strap without taking them off. So that would be the only comfort thing on the Hifimans. Those have more room around my ears than I thought they would, so they're really comfortable as far as that goes. Getting into the sound, the Hifimans, when I first got them, they sounded so sharp to me that I could barely listen to them for more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I don't know if it's because they've broken in or because I've gotten used to them, or maybe a little of both. But they don't sound sharp to me at all now. I can listen to them all day, and I don't notice any sharpness in there. So, but they are more sparkly in the treble than the hd6xx. And also, they don't have quite as much bass. But the bass that they do have it has more detail than the Sennheisers. So what bass there is, it's not like they don't have any bass, but the bass that they do have has a lot of detail in it. You can really hear like the strums of the, I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, you can really hear the resolution of the bass, the note, what's going on in there. To where the Sennheiser, it has more bass, but it's kind of more of a thump, thump, thump kind of bass. But it's still good though. But it doesn't have a lot of bass, but it just has more than the Hifimans. But yeah, not quite as detailed in the bass on the Sennheisers. The Sennheisers can get a little shouty in the voices sometimes. Like there's a guy on Geography Now named Gary Harlow, and every time he gets on there, he does a fake Australian accent, and he kind of shouts. So every time he gets on there, I have to immediately turn the volume down if I'm wearing the Sennheisers, because it is ear piercing when he gets to shouting on there. So stuff like that. But yeah, overall, these both sound really good, and they sound really similar, a lot more than you would think by the way the reviewers talk. They're not that different at all. And there's a lot of times when I have to reach up and check my ear cup just to remember which pair I'm wearing. Because I wear them for watching TV and for music and switching back and forth. So they sound really similar. And for anyone who hasn't gotten into the wired headphones yet, I would say if you get either one of these, if you like, really clear, crisp, clear sound that sounds lifelike, you're going to like either pair of these headphones. To me, you can't go wrong with either set. You will need an amp, like a Atom, the JDS Labs Atom, or a like a shit Magni, one of the smaller amps, or possibly you might be able to get away with one of those FIO, like the BTR5 or the BTR7. You might be able to get away with something like that on there. I'm sure that Helm Bolt thing, I'm sure that would work fine, that THX1. But if you just try to run them off your phone or a laptop, they're going to be very underwhelming. You're not going to get the sound that you really could get out of these, not even close. So you're going to want some kind of amplification to go along with these. But overall, I guess if I had to describe in one word, I would describe the Sennheisers as being neutral, like not boring, but just super neutral, like what the music sounded like when they recorded it, kind of. And I guess I would say the Hifimans would be analytical in that on the Hifimans there's a little more air around the instruments, a little more separation, and they're just more exciting sounding. They got more sparkle in the treble. But you can still hear all the detail in the Sennheisers too. It's just that they're not quite as sparkly on the top end of the treble. As far as now, reason why I wear open backs a lot is to be able to hear people trying to talk to me and stuff. So for that, the Hifimans are better. They let more sound in. I can actually, if I turn the music down, I can have a conversation with someone without taking those off, to where the Sennheisers, they block a little bit more sound. You can still hear everything, but they do block a little bit more of the sound out than the Hifimans. So if you just don't want to take them off and be able to talk to people, I would say the Hifimans are better. If you do happen to have an LG phone with the quad DAC, the Sennheisers can be run perfectly fine off that and get plenty loud. And the Hifimans can get fairly loud too off of that. But I would say with the Sennheisers, if you had the LG phone, that's enough. That's all you would need to drive those perfectly fine. And so in that case, you wouldn't need an amp for those. But I know not very many people seem to have the LG phones. So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to cover it. Like I said, either one, I'm glad I have both of these. I wouldn't give either one of these up. They're really cool, both of them. So just wanted to share that with you. Have a good day. Thanks.